Hello, everybody. My name is Jean-David, and we are live for another World Series race, which takes place in the USA. I'm here with Norman. Hi, Norman.
Bonsoir and good evening. Hello, guten Abend, wherever you are in the world. And Jean David, good to see you and happy to be here today with you and sitting next to you. I think that way, this way. There
It's
you
quite
are.
hard to.
And I just pointed in all directions. So now let's see what happens today on this beautiful day here in California.
Yes, tonight we are flying in the sky of USA and in the southwest of USA, more especially in the Californian sky. So, is it a region you have ever flown in?
Me personally, I have not flown in California. Nope, far from it. I usually fly in the southeast of America, which is in Florida.
Okay, so you are flying in USA, but not in the good
And for
region.
some
So
reason, hold on.
maybe Tim, you can show us the QNAM view to see the track. So yeah, we are here in the southwest of USA, quite a region with some mountains. I did not expect that in the south of California, but we can see some mountains right here north of Los Angeles, and we are here for a 330 kilometers race. All
It's a
right.
long race. I would say it's a silver batch. If you want never flown 300 kilometers or more, it's a silver batch. But here we are. We're talking about the World Championship of 2023, and there's lots to talk about this challenging task. If you go into Crystal, which is our starting point up there in the top left, you can see it's right in front of the Sierra Mountains, or actually the San Gabriel Mountains, which is we are south of the mountains. And if you go further below, we are in Los Angeles. So most, if you go right there, is the West Covina, Pomona, we have Los Angeles. So there's a lot of flight restrictions if you're going further south. So we're not going there today. We're just going to scratch it over there if you can see it in San Bernardino. But when you fly from Crystal, and I looked at some flight tracks from local pilots over there, and I know Jean David, you saw done the same. Most people actually fly more towards the north
Yeah,
of
exactly.
Crystal because it's the desert, and there's a lot of lift in the desert. And then, of course, when they fly into the southern mountains, into the San Gabriel Mountains, they have, of course, lots of ridge flying there. And
Yeah,
but as
so
we all know, ridge flying is not the easiest thing. It's dangerous. It's risky. You have to learn to fly ridge. This is not something you do on a flat land. But here we have both options, which is very cool. But if you're
yeah,
looking again, yeah,
it's exact. I've done my homeworks, and I've seen on WiGlide that most of the pilots in Southern California are flying ridges, as you said, on these ridges that are east to west and in the north in the desert. So I think this race could be a realistic race we could have seen in the real world. Sometimes in previous races, we've flown in regions that are not familiar with gliders, especially I think about Mexico. There are a lot of paragliders, but not a lot of gliders. But here in Southern California, we can see some flight tracks doing this type of flight, and so it is quite realistic. We can thank the task setter for this amazing race they can offer to us tonight. And I will.
right. And if you look at the first leg, first we have basically a bit of thermal flying, so you have to get high up in the sky, I would say, and then you have to find the lift. And turn point one is against San Gabriel Mountains, and it's the highest peak that we have in there. And so that means we have to go really, really high, trying to find some good thermals and some good lift in the mountains on the ridge. And the wind is coming from the southwest, but we're going to talk about that later, how the weather conditions are today, Jean.
Yes.
Um, and then we have to go from there to turn point two. If you look down all the way between us right there, you can see it. We're flying basically around the mountain right there, and this is very close to flying into the Sugarloaf Mountains, which is the largest peak in Southern California, basically where my hat is right there. That's Sugarloaf Mountain right there. So, um, so they're basically flying around this beautiful big ridge, and then flying back home. That's a so lots of rich, and then you have to fly through this valley of San Bernardino. You have to fly through this big valley. So I don't know if you can do the final glide from turn point two. That depends how high we're going today, but I think maybe right there where I'm at, that's probably where you catch the last lift and then try to fly home. That's what I would think. That's what I'm guessing right now. I looked at some flights from
Yeah.
on OLC, and I saw somebody flying a very similar track as we're looking at, except he flew it the opposite direction.
Okay. And do you
So,
know if
John David, tell me about the weather today that we're looking at having this map.
Yeah, so the weather forecast for the race tonight will be a quite windy day. So the wind comes from the southwest. The speed is 22 kilometers per hour. So we are in the USA, but we are talking about kilometers per hour. I'm sorry for the one who need to do the translation to the American values. I can't do it right now. The thermals will have a strength weak, and there is a potential of wave flying. So we don't know if people so if competitors will use it and if it's a good strategy, but maybe we will see. So coming from the southwest, we can expect maybe some ridge flying from task one from the point one to from the start line to turn point one, I guess, going from west to east. And maybe, as you said, the final leg will end on ridge flying to get the final energy to reach the finish line. That's my guess. Maybe if the viewers have some guesses, they can tell us in commentary. The commentary. I have here the chat open, so please feel free to tell us what is your guess on this race. What should be the best strategy? We will be happy to read your 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 strategy, and we will read it and react to them.
John David, it sounds like a good plan. I think if everybody goes to YouTube or to Twitch, where they can have a communication with us or chat with us, it's always nice. And especially our American listeners and viewers, perhaps they have some personal insights of this region, the South Sierras, and be lovely to hear from them and have a better idea what they think is going to happen today. We're flying standard class, by the way, if you ever know what that means for all the newbies. Jean, can you explain to us the standard class?
So the standard class is about 15 meters or wingspan gliders, and in the standard class you can have water ballast in your wings. So I don't know if there is a limitation tonight on the wing load, but yeah, the standard class is about this type of glider and this side of glider. We have other class to open class, which are very large gliders for the newbies, and we have some club class, which is a 15-meter glider but without any water in the wing. So we are flying standard class tonight.
Standard it is. And we're looking right here at the Sierra Bert with the LS8 Neo, which I believe is the better glider right now in this standard class. They have the option that we have. And you look at this area, I mean, look how much it's a desert, right? I mean, we're looking at this beautiful desert. We're looking at these puffy, beautiful clouds that will have some good lift in today. We have that 22 knots or miles wind today. Hold on, is it miles? Yeah, kilometers. So we're about 15 knots or miles of wind from the southwest. And so if we're looking from the southwest, right now we're looking basically due south. So to get into the ridge flight, we have to basically fly around that somehow, right? We have to get around the mountain to get onto the ridge side, huh? Because it's coming from the south, so it's coming from the on the side of the mountains that we have to get to first, right?
Yeah, so some pilots are already trying the mountains and to fly right there to see before taking the start if they can find some lift in the mountains, or if it's not a good strategy. In real competition, it is a very often used strategy to see what the weather is in real and to try some lift after the start line. And when they think they have a good idea of what the weather will be today, they decide if they take the start right now, or if they wait better weather in half an hour or in an hour. So that's what our pilots are trying right now. Zulu Uniform Zulu is trying the mountains, and the other are taking some lifts. I don't know if no,
Yeah.
there is not a lot of pilots that are trying the mountains right now. Maybe they do not have enough altitudes to try. Let's see.
Well, we have an hour, so in about 4 minutes the gates will open, and
Yes.
the gate will be open for 60 minutes. So you basically have up to 60 minutes right now if you want to be the last to get off the start line to check out the weather conditions, especially the ridge conditions. Um, and some people just simply trust.
And I have to admit, I didn't watch Google Map or any satellite view before this event, and I am quite surprised of the intensity of the desert. There is absolutely nothing right there, and I have to thank again the people who work for free to make these landscapes amazing and to make this simulator very realistic. We think we are
Yeah.
in South California right there, and it is one of the ideas of the World Series. Racing in a different country each time will make us discover new landscapes, and with the quality of this type of landscapes, we are discovering photographies of the reality, and it's very interesting to see how it is to fly in this type of region. And yes,
It's definitely a the map looks fantastic. And I did look at Google Maps earlier,
mhm.
and it looks very much like it. Very desert-like, very cream-colored like brushes. Um, and the reason why I mentioned that earlier, that people usually fly towards the north or towards the east into the deserts because they have airports following the track towards the east, so it makes it easier for them um, to land out if needed. Because it's such a vast land that you don't really want to risk landing out there.
Yeah, that
So
was
you
one of my
prefer using
question
airport.
I wanted to ask tonight. And if you know, what is the density of airport in this type of region? Are they very close to each other, or are they 100 kilometers away? I don't know if when you are flying in the desert like this, you need to think, what is the next airport I can land on? Or do you fly like in our region in France? You you fly and you you fly and you can land in fields. Here, I don't know if you can land in the desert or if you need to focus on airfields only.
Well, you can land. I'm pretty sure you can land in the desert, but you have to be careful because it's it's so vast. So you have to land somewhere. There's a road to get to number one, and I've never been to this desert, so I don't know how rock
Mm.
how rocky
Yeah,
it is. Meaning how many big boulders and rocks are laying around that could hurt you. Uh, That's would be somebody with local knowledge would be great. And
yeah.
I'm sorry I'm not offering that.
If someone has ever flown in this region, you can comment and explain to us how it is to fly there. Right now, we have 7 people watching on YouTube, and there is no message on the chat. So please Just send a message to say hello, and we will be happy to interact.
Happy.
Happy commentators.
Yeah. I'm, I'm going to open up my YouTube channel and see if I can say something. Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people in the same thermal as a few minutes ago. And they are all going to south to reach the start line, because we can see that the lift they took right here was a bit north of the start line. So they are going to the start line because maybe team in the backstage, you can tell us if the start line has opened, but theoretically the time tell us that it is open. So yes, we have confirmation. It is open, so the race can go on.
Yep. So I just heard we have a nice haircut, guys. So thank you. So the start gate is open. We haven't even talked about all the participants today. And perhaps we could have a nice list of all the racers today who is up and running. It'd be nice to have a little introduction to all of our friends in the virtual world.
So I will try to see regarding the previous races where the pilots are. So maybe Tim, you can tell us how many pilots are logged in right now. 37 pilots are flying tonight. That's quite well
That's a nice strong
on this server. Yeah,
fleet.
you're right.
And I can see all the names on the list. We have 007, 188, 3 Juliet, 6 Bravo Mike, 863, 9 Alpha, Alpha Echo X-Ray. I don't have no names, just the so you can see them yourself on the track. Sorry, I don't have all the lists that go associated with the collider pilots.
So on the
Last year when I
Weldon,
flew, I knew all these people by name. It's been too
no,
long.
there is a lot of people. We can on the on the ranking we have 143 pilots. So knowing all the names would be a very tricky task. But you spoke about 007, Michael Yonka from Bulgaria. What can I see? Kilo Juliet, let's see. So Kilo Juliet, Kuba Jedruszewski from Poland. I'm sorry for spelling the name. I don't know if I'm totally right. And we have Kilo Mike India, Mihaly Knos from Hungary. And you have to know that Kilo Mike India is second on the total ranking right now. Just above him, we have Norbert Kiss, Charlie November. I don't know if Charlie November is racing in this server tonight, but Norbert is the first right now on the global ranking. And do we
Who's the
have
first on global ranking? No, no,
Norbert Kiss from Hungary?
Norbert. Oh wow. What is his CN number? His call number?
The competition number is Charlie November CN. So
Charlie November. Something to remember while we're looking at the screen for the next few hours and see what happens.
yes, unfortunately Norbert is not on this server, but we have other pilots, well-known pilots that will race tonight to get some points.
Hmm.
So we can see that
Sorry for the silence.
some pilots have already took the start. They went a bit lower than the cloud base, and they pass through the start door, and they are reaching the next thermal to gain altitude and to go to turn point one.
Yeah, so it seems like really turn point one from this point of view is like you don't fly ridge for a long while unless you do a south turn and you fly into the mountains and use the ridge to get up high. So I guess Jean Noel is trying the straight way, shortest cloud to the
Yeah,
left looks pretty
it's really
healthy if you get
interesting.
to.
Both of strategy can be done. We will see.
Yes.
Some of the pilots are gaining altitude, maybe to have the choice, because if you do not have enough altitude just after the start line, maybe you can't choose riding the ridge or going in the flatlands. So I think JK, Giro Quebec Quebec, sorry, Giro Kilo Kilo and other Eco Yankee Alpha Mike are gaining altitude to take the best strategy.
Right. So they already went to the gate and going high up to fly there. Is that what you're saying?
Team Madsen, Tango Kilo Mike has taken the starts, as well as
Okay.
Papa Romeo 5. Maybe Juliet Kilo Kilo and others has not take the start for now. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
some
they,
people
they are
flying still
just
back.
trying the lifts.
This is going to be interesting strategy right from the beginning. Do you do what Victor 88 makes, or are you going to the mountains, more distance?
Tim, can you just rotate a bit the view to see what are the cumulus two turn point one? Can we see a view? Yes. Well, the choice must be hard because you have quite great cumulus clouds on the flatlands, but maybe if you took the time to test the ridge flight and the ridge flight is going well, if you have a lot of thermals right there too, could be a hard decision to take.
And when we're looking at the start gate right there, how wide it is and how close it gets to the mountain, right? If you look at the right side of the start gate, that's and the cloud sitting right there. So fly through the start gate, take the cloud, and then possibly jump over to the ridge and use the ridge to go towards turn point one because that's the way to go. My thought.
And have you ever compete, Norman?
I've never really competed. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I did my first, what you call it, batch camp.
Okay, so
Batch
it's
camp is where you can fly long distance, trying to get your silver badge or your gold badge or diamond.
mhm.
So distance flying. And so it was my first time that I actually flew basically with people on the same task because the
Okay,
GTA is called the Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama group that basically like an internal camp slash race.
okay.
And we did an AAT task and I chose the B class, which is the shorter and easier task. And I did, and I won.
Well, you have a lot
I
of
was like,
talent.
okay, that's cool. That was pretty exciting actually to for the first time flying a task with people and winning it.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
in real life, I flew on Condor. I have won tasks on Condor, but nothing in real life until last week or 2 weeks ago.
Team in the
How about
backstage
you?
tell us that we have a picture of you racing with your glider to show us tonight.
Yeah, there it is, and that's the day
That's the day you
right
won.
there. That's the day I won. Yes, we're sitting here about with 35 gliders. It
Okay,
was before
very
the
interesting.
official competition day of the regional course of the Southwest area. and as well as the nationals. We had the national U.S. competition going on at the same following week. So this was for many people just a practice run, and that
Okay.
was for me the opportunity to practice
So
my. Um, on the second or third day, I did a task. I wanted to fly my 300K,
okay.
and I was 35 kilometers short
And you
of
outland
turn
or
point of turn point two. I flew back home,
okay.
but I canceled the task because I was like, it was still 20 miles to turn point two. And I said, I'm not, the weather started to shift on me. High cirrus clouds came in. And I said, I'm not taking a chance to land out. Let's fly home and enjoy the day.
Yeah, that's safe.
I was at
So
400
close.
meters and I already called, hey guys, I'm landing out. And as soon as I said that, I found a thermal. It got me back up.
The
So it's very low.
the holy the holy lift.
The holy lift, that's right.
Oh,
But
finally.
here we're looking at Victor 88 and Golf Bravo Oscar, and they found a really decent lift between 2.5 and 4, the way it looked. There we go, 4.5,
Yep.
4.6. So it looks like they go in the direct way. And again, the desert gives you usually really, really good lift. Um, Even at this time of the hour, they say when I read about it that by 11:30 noon in this area, the lift in the deserts are really, really strong.
Yeah, it was a quite a long distance from the start line,
Uh-huh.
17 kilometers, going straight to find the good thermal. But right there, I think they find the one to put them back up and to continue the race. Actually, the value of the variometers you can see on your screens, guys, is an instant value. So it is not compensate. It is not a mean value on 5 or 10 seconds. It's really instant value without compensation.
So it can be a bit misleading.
Yeah, a bit.
Right, right, right. If I look in the distance, I see Anna Martin Güttler, AM, Alpha Mike, and he chose to go the ridge. And
I
there,
no, Alpha
there he
Mike
is.
didn't take the start for now.
Oh,
You
he
can see,
hasn't?
no, no,
Oh, look at
not yet.
that.
We can see on the below on your right hand, Norman, you have any distance flown. So that means Alpha Mike didn't take the start for now.
Copy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's trying it out
Yeah,
and see if this is the way to go and if there's
he's
any
trying the
good lift
range.
behind the mountains. Hmm. I guess that's what we suggest to do. And we have 60-minute open gate, so there's a good example what you
Yes.
can do. And right now, it doesn't look too happy there because he has to fly back out of this valley too.
And the two strategies are, I think, quite different. If you take one of them, you should stay on this idea because during the flight, if you didn't have tried one or the other options, you may be in trouble to see during your flight that your strategy was not the good one. And for a man, psychologically, it's very difficult to admit that you have taken the wrong decision, and it affects your flight very much when you are flying competition like that. And you need to be very efficient, and you need to stay on your idea, first idea. And if you realize it was not the good one, it is quite hard to admit and to deal with. Even more if you had the time to test before taking the start.
Right, right. But since she hasn't started, so he's just going back.
Yeah,
And you can restart. So you can, if you did start, go to the gate, and you decide, break it off, fly back, try a different solution.
whenever
You have the
the
option.
start line is open, you can restart.
Right, right, right. That makes our time really long here. Hmm. But it seems like Victor 88 and Galvabrov Oscar sitting up there and going steady up into the cloud. And Mr. Richard Batham here still has plenty of altitude. But when you fly in this area, there's a very good mid band, meaning if you can go up to 4,000 meters, and now you're about below 2,000, the thermals might not be as good down below as they are higher up.
Yeah,
So that's a risky take right here.
yeah. As in reality, Condor can create lifts like that. So when you are too low, the width of the thermal is quite large, and the intensity, the power of the lift is not as good as it could be a few meters above. So when you are flying like this in competition on or in cross country, you can take the decision before the flights or during the flight to modify it to define 2 or 3 altitudes, which you define to have a security flight, which means that you see the weather and you find out that below 500 meters the thermals are really not good. You tell us before the flight, well, before 500 meters, I take all the lift I can to avoid this bad weather areas, bad weather altitude. And this is the idea of testing the weather before taking the race, the start.
Right, right, right. Tough choices here, and
And
I'm
we can
trying
see
to
that 007 has taken the start and he selects the ridge option.
bingo.
Interesting, interesting.
Personally, I thought that would be the way to go, but
Well,
the ridge is going up, so you have to be careful. That's the risky part in Condor, at least for me, is that you're thinking you're like, hey, I'm going up, but yet so does the mountain.
yeah,
And all of a sudden, you're flying into the mountain because your lift is not stronger than the ridge is rising with you. So, for me, visually, I have had issues with Condor in that regards. That caused me to fly into the mountain. And to be honest, it scared me to do it in real life.
yeah.
So, I like flatland flying. I'm the Thelma guy. How about you, Jean? You fly in the Alps,
Not not enough. Well, I
but
am
you have.
as just as you. I am a flatland guy. I'm flying in north of France, and we do
Uh-huh.
not have a lot of mountains right there. As you mentioned, I made my camps too in the Alps, but just 3 camps in our local, in the national center, Saint-Auban. But it is quite hard to have a real knowledge of mountains just in with 3 camps. And furthermore, one of my camps was to become a flight instructor, so I was focused on how to learn to students how to fly and to learn myself how to fly in the mountains. So I wasn't able to focus on both objectives, and I decided to focus on become a flight instructor and not learning how to fly in the mountains. So it's not my real pleasure to fly in the mountains. I would love to learn and to become a better mountain pilot, but it's always the same problem with time and distance. Uh, it's not easy.
Right.
So yeah, right there, I have.
There's the perfect example how difficult it is
Yeah,
because
yeah,
with
exactly.
22 kilometers of wind, you don't get that really strong lift on the ridge, and so they're going with the ridge, which is slightly higher, and now they have to turn around and fly back to get enough height to get over the mountains. Um, this is going to be an interesting strategy today, if this is playing out for the guys here in the ridges or not. So, so how long have you been a flight instructor?
For 3 years now. It's quite recent, but I'm flying for 13 years now. So
30?
13 years, yeah.
Wow.
And
13, 1 3.
yes,
Okay,
and it is a lovely sport.
isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
compete when I have the time, mostly in local competitions, the competition of north of France, and as I would like to say before, I love the time before taking the start because it is plenty of strategy, plenty of focusing and thinking about what could happen, looking at the others, taking the decisions, and I love the fact that you are flying in a plane without any engine, and you are focusing on strategy like you were playing at chess. And both of them, I just love this kind of flight. And flying with Condor, I was not used to before the pandemic. And as everybody was locked down in my room, so I tried with some friends. And in this type of competitions, what is very interesting is you you find this focusing and this strategy in flight you have in real flight, and it's exactly the same. So it is very good training during the winter, and it is very enjoyable during all the seasons to fly with friends and to fly competition with other peoples like that. And it is why we are creating this type of world championships. And I hope everyone in this server and the other are enjoying the flights and the evenings they are spending with us.
I have to say the reason why I agree what you say that this tool gives us a really good opportunity to better ourselves in our strategies to fly in real life. And the reason why I say that during the AAT task 10 days, 2 weeks ago, we had quite a bit of crosswind, about 20K, 22, like kind of like weather of today, but it came sideways towards our goal. And while I was flying in real life, I realized, I've done this on Condor. And rather than flying straight towards the turn point, you had to fly into the wind.
Yeah,
And so you fly this zigzag course into the wind while thermally coming back to the center again, into the wind. And I knew that due to Condor, and it gave me the opportunity to flew the longest distance in the shortest time. And that was really fantastic. I was like, yes, thanks, Condor.
yeah.
Because otherwise people didn't do that, and they drifted further away from the center line.
Yeah, to
And
my
that
mind,
was
Condor is a really, really good tool during two period on the uh, glider pilot life. It's really in the beginning to try out what is the command interact with your glider, turning left, right, to have the focus on what you can see and to manage how to handle the glider. It is a really good tool to gain sometimes when the student is in the real plane. He knows how it feels to turn the stick and other things. So it is a real great tool for learning pilots. And in the second time, for competitors to create strategies to learn and to manage your mind during the flight, Condor is a very, very good tool to learn.
I can only agree. We have a young student. His name is Christian. He's actually asked him to be here today as a co-commentator, but he's actually in Italy right now on vacation. Go figure.
Okay.
But he has flown on Condor and practiced, and then he started flying in real life. And our instructor says, "Man, this guy he knows how to fly."
Yeah.
And so it is very impressive to see how supportive Condor can be for anybody, young or old, and give people the opportunity to better themselves when they go into real flying,
Yeah.
for sure.
I totally
That's
agree with Kondo. You can learn whenever you are a young pilot or a more experienced one. For the interaction, I've bought a standard series glider. This is my glider, personal, and there is a standard series in Kondo. and I've flown some races during the pandemic with the Standard Cyrus in Condor, and I tried the MacCready settings and how to fly with the Cyrus, and I start the first races flying as I was flying in my real Cyrus. 120 kilometers, 130, but not so much more. And I saw the other pilots going to 150, 160 kilometers per hour, and they had a mean speed which was really great. And I see, well, my glider can do this in real life, and I tried, and it works. So I discovered that my glider has quite good performance at higher speeds than I was thinking. I was quite slow at the end of the story. So now I'm flying really fast, well faster than before in transition leg, and I was enjoying Condor for this.
We're example of what is possible and how to do it. And so we're looking at our gliders right here in front of us. They all have found a decent, a good thermal, it seems.
Yeah, again.
It's a blue one. No, that is a cloud up there. Okay, I see it. But I do
Well,
wonder how's the guys doing in the on the ridges.
yeah, maybe Tim, can you show us the map on QNAM to see how many pilots went to the option option flat and option ridge?
Oh
Okay, so
wow,
here we can see.
we can see a lot. Let me talk about, if you don't mind, talk about the flying in the desert. They all have flown more to the left, hard left. That's quite a bit of a distance to find a cloud. So they're not flying center line, even though the line goes further this way. That means they do fly towards the center of the turn point, but really far left, or in this case, east of the line.
Yeah, I agree.
And if you look at the ridge, they obviously made it over the highest point, but they're, I don't know. What do you see there? What do you see?
Well, it's quite
This is
interesting because Kilo Juliet has flown quite quick, I think. And as you said, I think the pilots are taking some altitude at the highest point of the mountains, like 007 right now, and then they are flying the ridge to the valley and to be prepared to the next mountains. But it could be a really good strategy. Maybe, Tim, can you go a bit to the east to see what?
no, to the south. Yeah, to the south. We're flying south right now. So if you go further
Yeah,
south, it gives you an idea what turn point two
yes.
looks like, and the mountains,
Yeah, so
right?
maybe Kill Juliet can catch up the next mountains and he can fly to 10.1. Yeah.
But it looks like he has to fly around the big mountain to get to turn point one, or halfway in where the big valley is. He has to then fly into the mountains there and get high enough at the highest peak in the San Bernardo Mountains.
And I didn't saw that earlier, but when you watch the pilots that have chosen the flat lands, actually they are flying towards maybe small mountains right in front of them.
Yeah,
So maybe they will try some ridge flying on these small mountains right there to reach the first turn point. We will see.
I think what's going to happen, the way you described it, they will use that ridge that they're flying towards right now, hopefully find a cloud over it, get really high, and fly to turn point one.
Yeah, maybe Tim, can we see GBO or GB0? GBO. See
Golf
what
Bravo
is front of him.
Oscar.
What does he see? Okay, so he's flying forward to. Okay, so mountains are quite small in front of him.
Hmm.
So he's targeting another cumulus cloud and maybe following the flatland mode from thermal to thermal.
He's still at 3,000 meters, so he's really, really high. Gotta consider that. So he has still a lot of height in his tank. We'll see how these ridges will work. I think it's a better option because this is directly or more direct to turn point one rather than flying the ridge, which is weaving you away from turn point one. You have to fly back to it later. So really good that we have both options right now and see
Yeah.
how it plays out.
But taking the ridge is placing you in a better situation regarding the wind because when you will have to reach turn point one, you can just take a lift and use the wind to get closer to the turn points. For
To the
the
thermal.
one who
Okay.
took the flatland mode, they are left from the
Center
task,
line.
the line, yeah. So each time they take a lift, they are going a bit further from the turn point, and they have some distance more to fly.
I
So
hear what you're saying, but I think what they've done with this pushing to the left in this picture away from the turn point gets them to the ridge though, to the highest point of the
yeah,
ridge. So and then that ridge guides them directly to turn point one.
yeah,
I
it
like
is
I like
really
this option
interesting
too. I
because when
really do.
you see the turn point one on the background of this picture, I would say that you have a really great street of cumulus clouds on the left, which is following the ridge, but to turn point one, we can't see any cumulus clouds, so I don't know how they will manage this transition to turn point one, gaining high altitude before flowing to this turn point. I don't know. A really, really interesting task.
Yeah, I like it. So it's not as easy as we all think. And again, we're flying standard. So standard, the glide ratio is it's like we're what at 40 to 1,
Yeah, I think so.
38 to 1.
Approximately, yeah.
So, we're not flying JS3s or something like this, which is like way more glide ratio.
Mhm.
This is good. This is a good practice. And this is really reality because most of us fly these gliders. They don't have the exposure to a $250,000 glider.
Yeah,
We're flying 10,000, 20, 30, $40,000 gliders. That's more
yeah, affordable.
for the norm for the public, huh? Even though this is a sport for the ones with a big wallet or bigger wallet. Well,
Oh, in France,
you tell.
it's I agree. It's not the cheapest sport, but it is quite affordable. In France, you can pretend to have some money from the federations. At
Hmm.
each step of your learning, you can have some money to help you continuing in this flight. So it makes the bill a bit less than it would be without. We are speaking about I don't know, maybe 600 or 800 euros at total time on the learning
On the learning aspect. But then
aspect.
I'm talking about flying competition and owning your own glider.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother level of commitment and also cost involved. You know, some clubs allow you to fly their club gliders on competitions, which is great to get the experience, especially for younger students or for students general. But then
yeah,
for
which
me,
is
it
quite
was like,
common. Which
what
is
what can I afford? Where can I go?
Yeah, in France it's quite common to fly competitions with your club gliders. So you can rent it for the duration of the competition or just for the hours you spend in flight. This makes the bill a bit cheaper.
Okay. What does it cost to rent a glider from the club?
Oh, it depends on the club and it depends on the quality of the glider, but it's approximately from 20 to 40 euros per hour. Depending on if it's the club class glider or if it's a double-seater open glider. It really depends on where you are flying in the region and in the other member of the club. Each club decide of the fees. It's not national, so really
Hmm.
depends.
Well, our club, as an example, which is the Tampa Bay Soaring Society, um, our best club glider is an LS4,
Which is
and
quite well.
which is a nice glider to fly with, even for competition, and it's been used for that for our young students. But it's not a JS3 or not a JS, any no Ventus something. It is
Yeah,
a $40,000 glider,
yeah.
and not
In
a.
Paris,
So
there are some club that can rent you a JS1 and other
mhm.
double seaters and very expensive double seater. But in north of France, clubs are smaller, and you can expect a duodiscus maximum. But it is good. It is good.
Again, everything has its place, and if you want to go into the big class, you have to have a big wallet.
Yeah,
But you can also do it in a small class, and this is the standard of the sport class, which is personally, I think it's a fantastic group of men and women and experience to have fun in life. So here we can see the first three on the lower edge of the ridge here. It's reduced sink.
oh
There's
yeah,
a little bit, but they're way further ahead of the back people in the back. They're way further, and there we can see. Hmm. This is the show must go on, and we'll
yeah.
find out how this is going to play out. This is a low ridge compared to where they have to go.
When commentators stop speaking like we did, it's because we are very focusing and we're very thinking of what could happen and what we can say, not
You
saying
see the clouds
mistakes.
coming out of here? Lots of thermals.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to
That
figure
was
out how would we do that. And
yeah,
sorry, if you go back, Tim, in the distance, you can see how high the clouds, the mountains are that they have to come to. You see how high they are back there? There's quite a bit of height they still have to catch. And the cumulus clouds are really far and far between.
yeah,
Tough,
yeah.
tough race.
Right here, Eco Juliet Eco has not a lot of cumulus cloud in front of him, so I don't know where is he going. Maybe going straight to the mountains and getting lower to try the ridge flying on these small mountains. We will see.
Right, right.
We can see Victor 88 in the background of there, maybe 20 kilometers away from Eco Juliet Eco. Okay, so they are getting low.
Well, they're not getting low. Actually, the mountain is coming high.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They still
Relative
think they're high,
distance
but the
from the
mountain
ground.
is getting fatter and fatter and bigger. And oh, and where are the turn points? But I think that ridge right there, as Jared Bodenhausen, the German, who's always good in the competitions, um, that cloud disappeared right in front of him, didn't it?
Yeah, we can see the
There was
shadow
this,
on the ground, just on the ridge.
yeah, there was a nice cloud and
Oh,
it disappeared.
yeah,
That is a bummer. So now he's like, okay, there's a lake. What do I do? Where's the next thermal? Is this ridge going to help me out? And there's no place to land out here, by the way. So if you're in real life flying this, you're sweating.
yeah, a lot.
Or you turn your, hopefully you have an engine and you're like,
I just quite low to open the engine. If it is not working, you have to pray.
right, you do. And
Okay,
and the
so
close and the window to start the gate through the gate is 20 minutes from now. So flying back ain't gonna happen. So you're committed for now. And we can see now that Gerd is pretty, is right in the situation that he's at. And we look at the lower crowd, the people who took the ridge, they're behind, but they have definitely a better ridge to fly with because they're
yeah,
gonna make a left turn towards the center line.
they
There's
are
a nice
behind
ridge.
on the task, but I don't know if they took the starts before or after the group leading right now.
Well,
I don't
if
know.
we have the average speed, couldn't we find this out? How to figure out the average speed?
I know that team is able to give us this information. So
Right. If we're looking at the average speed of the planes, then we have a better idea how good they
so
really are.
we will look at.
There we go. Look at that.
Okay. Oh, very interesting. So kill you.
So now we're
Okay, you
looking
have.
at Kilo Juliet
Yeah.
has 137 kilometers per hour average, or 136.9.
S-
JKK 143, and that's the top right now. And GBO Gad right here 133, and he is closer to the turn point, hoping for something. So there we can tell if they really. So Kilo Juliet is in a really good position because
Yeah.
he has definitely the higher average speed. And then we have from the back coming here in 10th place, Victor Romeo Victor. Not Victor, sorry. Um, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey. And he's also in a good high average speed. And I believe Victor Romeo Whiskey is also on the task of the ridge.
Yeah. Yeah. I finally found him, and it is on the ridge too. So the three best average speeds took the ridge option. So we will see.
Yeah, and I hope Garrett is like there. It is. Like, oh, this guy is trying to find something. Oof.
Trying to save his life.
So Garrett is looking to fly over that rim, and not Pierre, but Garrett is probably trying to get over that ridge to find that final lift that he needs to get to 10.1,
And you can see
if
with
he has
the
enough height.
different lines that Papa Romeo 5 went a bit lower than Victor 88 and Golf Bravo Oscar. So it didn't manage to pass the lake and to go on the next ridge. He needs to gain a bit of altitude, and it is a difficult situation because you were flying in a group of three people, and it was your strategy. And right now, he's quite in a trap, so he have to gain some altitude, and he know that its average speed will go very low. He will lose average speed right here, and it may be
Yeah, big time.
difficult in this situation to keep your mind very focused on what you are doing and to continue taking the good decisions. It's quite hard.
So here we can see these guys, the rich guys.
Yeah.
Um, they're trying to get enough height. They're still good speed, flying the ridge, getting the speed. Is there any comments on YouTube
I will check that, and not yet.
or on Twitch? Nothing.
Oh, I didn't open the Twitch. I'm a bad
Thing is,
commentator.
I
I will.
opened YouTube and my computer, my camera started to like slowing down. I thought, no, I'm not risking. But Garrett made it over the ridge, over the come, and now he can
Yeah,
follow that
finally.
ridge. And he's probably like, okay, next. Good thing I had a parachute on.
It's a bit late to use it.
Well, yeah, but not anymore. Now he's on the other side of the valley, and he has a really good chance to continue his good path.
So I think that GBO Golf Bravo Oscar has managed to pass through the bridge. He's on the good side right now, but Victor 88 didn't. So he have to go back, finding something to gain some altitudes. Maybe a difficult situation. In the same time, Pepper 5 managed to gain some altitude. It is going right to GBO. We'll see.
Yeah, or he's flying a long distance around that ridge that he's flying. And Victor 88 looks like he's going to fly around this ridge right now, but he's going to fly with lots of sink. So Victor 88, let me see. Yeah, he is going down because he's on the wrong on the loose side of the mountain, of the bad side of the mountain. Not good space to be. But Kuba here, Kuba Yetruskiewski. How would you say it? Yetruskiev.
Just as you say, it's
Sorry for.
perfect.
Yep, that's it. Tough one. Sorry if I butchered your name there, Kuba. But he's going now for the thermal. Maybe he found something to get higher and higher. And Garrett the German is staying on his path for sure. And not much to see. What's the guys are doing in the background? Let's see what the pack in the back does.
Yeah, maybe Tim, you can go to the QNAM map to have a global view. I have it on my side, and it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because as you see, the background pilots have changed their minds. They start with thermal options, flatlands, and they are going to the ridge right now.
And looking at the flight pattern from the beginning, if you didn't stick to it like Gravabov Oscar did, you're now flying lots of extra distance because you're crossing the center line from east to west big time. So you're really flying a very bad VMG. That's not good. So I think it's one or the other, not both. Definitely not a good option.
Okay, so everyone is, not everyone, but a lot of people are above 2,000 meters. Quite good.
Right. So there you can see that the top Papa Romeo 5 has chosen to fly this little ridge to not die where he was because he was very low. And
fly to survive.
He hasn't really gained any height either, if you see it. He's sticking around 2,300, 2,400. And Golf Bravo Oscar has gone up. He is now at 2,500 when he once got over the ridge. So he gained some height, which is great, and he's leading. So again, we can't tell. The average speed is the giveaway on this, that we know who's the fastest.
Yeah, he managed to capture the ridge guys, and he's front of them right now. But as we saw earlier, its average speed was a bit lower than the perfectly ridge guys. So it is a very difficult position for him because he is ahead of the fastest pilots, and it is an help for the fastest pilots to have informations, because when you are competing or when you are flying local flights, when you see other pilots in front of you, you can have some information if there is a lift, if there is not. And this information is very interesting to have a better average speed, because it is a great help for decision making.
It sure is, because now he's the hunted one, and gives away what's to be got.
Yeah,
So, but he also was one of the first to leave the gate. So you take that risk when you leave first, that you are the rabbit.
exactly. In
Yeah.
this race, the time at the start of the server was 1 p.m. for information. So at the end of the joining time and at the end of the start open, it was 2 2:10 p.m. It is quite early in the afternoon. Maybe going first was uh, was a decision. We have to respect that, but it would be maybe good to wait for some pilots to go in front of you, because you had time, you have
Right.
plenty of time.
But I've read in real life in the Sierra Mountains, you can have lift as early as 9:30 in the morning, strong,
Okay,
and in the desert by noon, you definitely have a very good lift. But is Condor that correct? Because we know in Condor that as longer you wait, usually, or in real life, 2, 3 o'clock is usually the best time to go for a good height for normal weather patterns. There we go.
oh, so we have
Tim.
a very special view right now. Tim is streaming his VR setup, or maybe not his VR, but his internal view, and we can see what it is to be a pilot in this competition.
Yeah, Tim is a really good, very dedicated server. He flies almost every day, and he can watch his stream every day. So Tim is a very avid and very good standing in the world champion, and from Denmark. And so he chose first to fly through the desert and then into the mountains, if I see that correctly.
Okay, I didn't look at it.
But I like his view right now. And he's basically the bobblehead. You're supposed to be constantly vigilant around you. He's doing it because he wants to see where everybody else is and also where the clouds are. But in real life, you want to always watch out for traffic, not just glider traffic, but also the motorized traffic. That's one thing I've learned in real flying. Everybody always was talking about safety, safety, safety. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden you realize when you come into situations like, oh, that's why we need to watch out and
Yeah,
doing this constantly and watch, be vigilant all the time,
yeah,
and spatial
especially when you are
awareness.
gliding with other people and in a competition like that, waiting before the start line with 50 pilots, it's quite impressive, and you don't have the time
He,
to
sorry,
watch your
he,
instruments. Yeah,
he discovered just a cloud popping up. He's like, I'm going there. Definitely.
it is his next
Yeah, when
target
you
now.
have in the beginning these lots of pilots in the gaggles, that's the most riskiest time during the entire competition, because everybody wants to find that little cloud that helps you up. And yeah, in Cordele, Georgia, where I was 2 weeks ago, they have actually 4 start gates or start areas
Hmm.
for the different clubs or different groups.
Yeah,
to
to
fly in,
avoid
so you don't
collision.
have so many people in the same thermal. So that's what I've learned. You learn, this is where safety is really important because it can happen so quick.
Hell yeah.
You know, um, flying can be so much fun, but it's not just easy. You really have to be always on guard, and that's where CFIs like you, teachers,
Yeah,
come into place and hopefully teach their students to constantly.
much.
Choom, choom, what was that? Oh, okay. It's a bird. Good. Birds are your friend. I don't know how that is for you, but I believe it's the same.
And
But here
we,
in Florida, we have these big buzzards, eagles, and
yeah,
fox, falcon. Uh, anyway, big birds, and you don't see them all day, but all of a sudden you go into a thermal, and if it's a decent thermal, those birds all of a sudden show up left and right,
yeah,
or vice versa. You see the birds in the thermal, like that's where you have to go.
yeah, exactly.
And I love the birds. You see birds, go for that. Most definitely.
I
That would
will
be a
tell
nice little
the
feature on Condor.
yeah, exactly what I was thinking. I will tell the developers of Condor to add some birds to help people finding the lifts.
Definitely. Because, like, oh, there's a bird, especially on blue days. Yeah, that's the number.
When they will see our emails, they will just delete it.
Come on. Are
As
we
usual.
promoting them good enough to get a little bit of input?
Yeah.
So the
Okay,
front
we have
lead over there coming to the highest points. And by the way, PK5 made it. So, or did he not? Ugh. Nope, that's the end. Bye bye. Can't land out. Crash. Sorry,
that
Pierre.
was unfortunate.
That
Not
was the
just
end of
as
that
good.
story. And in real life, you'll be dead, possibly. Sorry to say.
In real life, I don't think he would have tried this this maneuver.
Possibly not, right. But here we can see how turn point one is you getting a good lift here.
Yeah, and maybe Tim, you can go to the leading pilots,
Yeah, because
GKK
they
or
are
GBO,
definitely
to
turning.
see because yeah, they are going to the port one, just a few
So
kilometers
JKK
away
has to come up. So they both chose a different
again.
valet. And JKK realized I have to come around because I'm not gonna get over that. And the turn point is pointed. If you look to the
Yeah,
left, Tim, um, you have to be on this side of the valley. Otherwise, all we have enough height, then you can fly over it. Right? That ridge is too high. So you have to gain height to get over that to get to turn point one.
and
So
can
Gerd
you
is
show
doing
us
the right thing.
Tim where is turn point two from turn point one? Okay, so I was afraid about the big mountains we can see on the right side. I was telling myself if they had to go right straight to this mountain, it would be very tricky. But fortunately for the pilots, they have to go a bit on the left. So maybe the mountains will be a bit lower. And again, you have two options because if you are going to the east, you can find flatlands and you can find some thermals. But you can play with the ridge if you are staying straight on the line. So we will see what will be the options they make.
So Juliet Kilo Kilo made it over the ridge, is very low, now turning into the turn point and hoping he's high enough to get over that little lip. I don't think he is.
Oh no.
But he's flying high speed, so he probably can pull up the stick a little bit and get over it in the last moment. But this is risky flying you only do on Condor. I don't think you do this in real life. Do you?
Oh no, too risky.
Look, I mean, look,
Way too
he's
risky.
bleeding speed, just coming over it and hoping to find something.
Way too risky in a real flight to pass a ridge like that at 100 kilometers.
So look, Gad is flying back to the cloud. He's like, I'm taking that cloud. Hopefully, find some good lift to get enough high to fly further to the west to go higher into the mountains and fly that ridge.
And Kiliojet is following the two leading pilots. He's completing the podium. Oh, and he's quite low.
Yeah, so
A
now we
bit
can
higher,
see.
and he has a lot of speed compared to Juliet Kilo
Yes,
Kilo.
he's definitely already way
So
higher.
speed is energy, energy is life in glider.
Yes.
Maybe Tim, can you show us the average speed right now, just after the turn point
First
one?
turn point. That's a good idea. That helps us a lot to understand where they really are. Ah, oh, look at that.
Oh, the
Wow.
average speed have been reduced compared to what we've seen earlier. So Kilo Juliet.
But
Okay, so
Juliet Kilo Kilo, who's in first,
yeah,
was 139K. That is high
very
speed.
interesting. Yeah, and you can see that
And Kilo,
Golf
yeah.
Bravo Oscar has some kilometers per hour to gain before expecting a podium. And now they are in the same situation with GKK, so it would be very difficult, I think, to gain 26 kilometers per hour in the same early position. So maybe we'll see. Maybe some other decisions later on will make GBO quicker than it was for the beginning of the flight. So JKK, interesting strategy. He's not trying to gain some altitude. He's going straight to turn point two.
And there's a cloud right there. So he's hoping to get that.
Interesting.
Good choice. Because you're past the highest point and the clouds disappear. I mean, the mountain becomes smaller. So you're gaining height to get to the next turn point as well as to the next cloud. On the way there was the opposite. You're losing height because the mountain's coming up. And to get to turn point two, now looking at the overall picture, you're on the leeward side of the mountain. You always seem to be on the wrong side of the mountain. Tough race. Yowza. And
GPO.
JKK is increasing his average speed because he's constantly staying on the same path. Very
Yeah, right.
impressive.
Yeah, it's quite logical when you will circle up to gain some altitudes. Its speed
Right.
will be reduced, but it's not
So
the
who
case
has
right
the
now.
chance to catch up when we're looking at this big picture here? We have Whiskey Romeo Whiskey with a high
Yeah,
average, Zulu Bravo Yankee, as well as AM Anna Martin Güttler. And also in good shape is three Juliet.
Juliet. Yeah,
And
yeah,
everybody who's below 120, I have a doubt that they will catch up to be in first. No, this is good. This
yeah,
is
we'll
good to
see.
know.
Well, finally, people converge to the ridge option, I think.
Well, at that point, once you fly into the mountain, you have no option. That is the option.
But previously on the race, we've seen approximately 50% on flatland, 50% on ridges, and right now the people have changed their minds, and yeah, we have 99% on the ridges.
So now, if you look at the options, if I look at Golf Bravo Oscar, he's really flying hard to the west. Is he possibly trying to get around that mountain to be on the windward side? You know, because if you look at it, you will be always on the leeward side if you're flying the ley line or the
Yeah,
blue line. To get around that is basically fly the longer distance and catch that lift on the right side of the wind. And J Kilo Kilo is trying to get that ridge as well, but the wind's coming from the southwest. So is there really lift under these cloud on these because
I don't know. It's
southwest?
quite, yeah. The ridge could give some lifts, but it may be hard to find when you pass the ridge. You have to be at the right spots on the ridge to find the good thermal. And maybe for now, no one of the pilots have found the good lifts they are expecting.
No, but look where the wind is coming from. The wind is coming basically from here, here,
Yeah, like that.
right? And so yes, that ridge might be carrying that JKK is on, but nothing on that
Yeah.
side. On this
But
side.
maybe earlier
No.
on the leg, just closer to turn point one, I think they were expecting a lift on the few kilometers just after the turn point, but no one stopped, so it was not a good. You can see that Zulu Bravo Yankee is trying something on the highest part of the mountains. Maybe he is the one who found the good lift. We'll see. Whiskey
I mean,
Romeo
right now he's basically
Whiskey.
flying backwards. Or did he find a nice cloud? Hmm.
Okay, so let's back on the race.
He is flying backwards.
Yeah,
This is an interesting choice.
he's trying the highest part of the mountain to gain
To gain the height,
altitude.
huh?
Okay.
There it is. He may have found it.
Oh no.
There we go. Look, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I find it interesting all the different strategies that we're seeing today, which is
Yeah.
nice. It's not like there's not one soup that tastes the same.
Oh, this is a
But
very
flying
great
backwards,
view. This is a great view, team, because we can see what the pilot are thinking and what could be the options. So Kilo Juliet has taken a lift, which seems to be quite good. We can see him climbing
yeah,
because to the turn point two, you have to face another high mountain, and again, this obstacle will make some pilot choice. And if you are going straight to the mountain, if you are going to the east, to the west, it depends on your altitude you gained before. So, in fact, the options you will have facing the next mountain depends on what you are flying right now. If you are gaining altitude right now or after, this is very interesting. The game
yeah.
is
And Kilo Julia
absolutely
is getting a
perfect.
nice lift there.
Yeah.
We can see his where is he? KK. There you go. K Juliet. He's now almost at 3,000 again. So he gained already 500 meters, which is nice. But as you can see, he's being pushed into the wrong direction.
Yes.
You know.
It's very interesting. We spoke about the average speeds before, but nothing is done right now. The race can be completely reversed in the ranking. Depends on the choice they made. So Very interesting.
Right. So Juliet Kilo Kilo just found a nice lift there, it seems, right on the edge of the mountain. Beautiful, beautiful cloud above it. If you want to tune into that, Tim, for a moment, go to Juliet Kilo Kilo and see what he has to give on average. I think he's going really strong.
Compared to GBO, who are flying straight, he didn't manage to find lift right now, or maybe his strategy is to go as close as possible to the next mountain to find the good lift, because he has a lot of cumulus clouds in front of him. So yeah,
Yeah,
he
the
have
clouds to the left looking good or straight
yeah,
if he gets
exactly.
to it. Because I don't see no shadow on the ground.
Yes,
That's
some of
another thing I learned on Condor.
yeah,
Looking at the cloud shadows, right? Because when you fly high or near the cloud base, usually it becomes hazy,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you don't see the other clouds in the distance. And so I've learned to look into the ground like the clouds are there and there and there
yeah.
because the shadow tells you.
And when you are
Um,
flying close to the cumulus clouds and there is some wind, you can easily see the streets of cumulus clouds that are following each other on the ground. It's drawing a line, a black line on the ground, and you know that you are in a good situation if your turn point is following this line of cumulus clouds. So
yeah,
really
yeah,
interesting to see the ground. Here with the mountains, it could be quite difficult to see, but in flatlands, it's very oftenly used technique.
yeah. People always know. How do you know the clouds are over there? It's like they don't. They didn't learn that the shadow is your cloud.
This is my personal experience. I'm a good pilot. You keep your own secrets. It's just like magic.
Well, keep it a secret, but I mean, like we're such a small community, so might as well share it, so
Yeah,
all can be safe and have fun. You know, if you find a world class and you have those, you know that. No,
yeah, yeah. It's it's quite funny with students when they don't know, but with experienced pilots, it doesn't work.
no. But then people are like, how do I know this? Right? I've been flying now for a year and a half, 2 years. I have to admit, I used to fly as a kid when I was 14 to 16,
Hmm.
and I used to live in Germany, and I flew then. I had about 50 starts, and then I became 16, and then the curve of the glider was not as beautiful as the curve of a woman. So, you know, but anyway, I've learned to fly when I was young, and then when I had extra time in my life, all of a sudden, like, oh, let's go back to flying again. And I said to myself, what have I been waiting for such a long time to have such a fun,
Yeah,
fun thing?
yeah, yeah. I can't stop. I am not able to. Personally, I can't stop since I'm 16 years old. I'm flying gliders. I tried planes. I tried light motor planes, but gliders still coming back, and it's the best way to fly, I think. And yeah, when you're speaking to glider pilots, we are all in the same, not religion, but in the same and same idea of flying with nature and with the mental training to take decisions and to manage the flights during the day, and it's very interesting to see.
And people sometimes underestimate flying real flying. After being in the air for 3, 4, 5 hours, your body is like, you need to rest. Your body's like, I want to sleep. At least for me,
For
you're a little younger,
everyone.
but and then you have to do it again, and you have to do it again, especially on competition days. You do it 4 or 5 days in a row, and it's physically and mentally very challenging And you have to keep your physical and emotional body and mental body very strong, fit, to be able to fly in such a high quality
Yes.
level of flying. It's so heads up to these guys that have to be really strong in so many ways.
And your decision making is depending on this parameter. So keep.
And it looks so easy right here. We're looking at the screen. We have the altitude.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have the speed, the vario. Oh, it's all super easy and easy. But then you're flying a standard glider, and you have a little screen, yay big, and got to figure everything out. It's not a 32 screen inch
Yeah.
that tells you everything. It's all like hit me the keyboard and figure this out. No, it's all in the preparation, knowing what tabs you have on your screen, which is this size, as I said, and your landscape is on this sky. So there's a lot of things to consider previous to the flight. And here we go. Whiskey Romeo Whiskey and Kilo Juliet found a nice thermal again,
Yes. In the
and
same
they're
time,
taking it.
GBO went straight again. He has not climbed since few minutes right now.
Yeah, he is stepping at 1930, so he's low, and the mountain is coming fast. And did he? Is there a cloud somewhere in his sight somewhere, or?
The
Ooh,
next cloud
this
is
is
quite far
good
away
luck.
from GBO, maybe on the right side.
But he has some lift here because he's on the right side of the mountain now. So reduced sink and possibly some lift here and there. Yeah.
Okay, so
From this point
interesting
of
thing.
view, nice to see.
Interesting.
We can see fly to the left. But once you're in the air, life looks different.
Yeah,
We
and
don't have the overview.
on the west part of this mountain, the edges of the mountain doesn't look quite vertical, so maybe not generating so much lift than other part of the mountain, I guess.
Well, he is going up. He's not going down. He's staying at 1930. So it gives him the opportunity to fly to that next cloud. And with some luck, the German might get his next lift.
This is magic we were speaking about.
Right,
That little thing.
that little thing we all hope for when we're low. That cloud looks like it's going to fall apart soon, though. It doesn't look as yumpy.
And I'm remembering the average speeds we've seen earlier. It is interesting because we say that GBO has some kilometers per hour to take back, and he's trying something. When you are in the situation in competition, you know that the other pilots around you have a better average speed, and you are now in the same situation as them. So you have to take a very strong decision to hope taking back the average speed you need to be first. And it's very interesting. GBO has made a very interesting decision to take the lead, take another decision than other people, and trying something. If you do not try, you will never expect good results if you have this type of average speed.
He doesn't have that knowledge, though, unless he watches the screen while he's playing. We might give him a
Well,
heads up there, but
GBO, he knows that he was one of the first to take the start, and
right.
after in the top point one, JKK was with him, and he knows that JKK starts after him. So the average speed of two pilots was different at the point one. They've flown a bit of distance together after the turn point one, and if you know that you have
Sorry,
less
he
average
flew
speed at this
flew
moment,
both of
you
them.
need to take a decision.
He flew through both clouds. He didn't take one or the other. Ay, 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 ay. But he's a good pilot. I mean, he has done good stuff in the past, and but now he's going down 18. So he lost 100 meters, 300
Yeah,
feet.
good luck to him.
JKK is sweating as well. Oh. When you're in
Very,
that
very interesting.
situation in real life, I think you just would fly to the right, away from the mountains. Hopefully, find a flat spot somewhere.
And sorry, Tim, but can you display the average speed? Because you see, if JKK has a better average speed at 10.1, which is the case, there is still 10 kilometers per hour of difference. Maybe JKK says, okay, he's trying something, I will catch up him to have the same flights. So I know that I have a better average speed at 10.1. If I follow him and I do the same flight, I will have a better position in the final ranking. But finally, JKK has a bit of time as a return, and maybe he will not manage to fly as well as GBU in this leg, and the average speed will be compensated at the end of the second leg of the race. So yeah, very interesting. The game is open.
Yeah, the game is definitely open, and you can see that the average has gone down everywhere throughout on the board.
Yeah,
Everybody has slowed down. So TKM 125
yeah,
is
flying
right
with
now the
the wind
fastest.
ahead is always difficult.
Right.
Alpha Mike is
Hmm.
still at above 130 kilometers. Wow. Where is he? Alpha Mike, where are you? Wow, Alpha Mike is in the valley between the two mountains in the leg 2. So it is a very interesting pilot to follow because he has a great average speed at a time where other pilots have a lower average speed. I don't know if he's on the bottom part of the lifts. And no, he has just leaves the lift.
Anna Martin Güttler, the guy from Norway. Where is he? There we go.
Yeah, yeah,
As a
yeah.
matter of fact, he helped me buying a Becker radio
Yeah,
from his club for my label.
from Norway.
Yes. And the reason why,
Okay.
in Europe, the law changed that in
Yes.
2024, you have to have the new
New
radio
frequency
frequency.
radios. Yeah.
Right. In the US, we don't. And so I had a very, very old radio that didn't work. And I asked Arne, or I asked actually on the Discord group if anybody has a radio that I could buy for my label. And he says his club, so thank you, his club says, we're changing all our radios this year. Let's see if we can get
Yeah.
you one. And I bought a really nice radio, a Becker radio,
Super.
and I installed it, which was a huge ordeal. By the way, I new to this, right? So electronics.
Yeah.
So for
You
a
don't.
whole week, I was working on my board here, on my dashboard, on my glider, trying to figure out how to wire everything because I didn't have a push to talk button. I
Okay.
didn't have a radio microphone.
Okay. So
So I had a
well,
lot of
it's
work to
quite
do.
common in Europe to have this type of equipment. So if you don't have this in your glider, it was tricky, I guess.
Well, I had a radio in there with a radio jack,
Yeah. So you put a
but I
headset.
wanted to have an installed radio mic,
Okay.
and I want a Becker, which is smaller and lighter,
Hmm.
and it fits perfectly into one of my little spots that was already in the dashboard. So I'm very happy, and thank you, Arne Martin Güttler, for doing that connection to his club. And by the way, Zulu Lima 7 better find something, get around these mountains and these.
He's
He's on the
quite
wrong
high
side of
on
the
the
wind.
ridge right now.
Yeah, but he's on the wrong side. Look at the minus
Yeah,
4 meters per second.
yeah, yeah.
He's on the wrong side of the lift.
Oh, and oh, he's not facing 10.2 at all. He has to
Oh,
make it.
and look at GBO in the back. What's happening
He
over
made it. He
there?
made it.
Yay!
Wow.
But the guys to the left, if you can see, they took the thermals before they went into the mountain,
Yeah,
and now they're high on the ridge, and they're going to be in a really good position to fly towards turn point 2. Because the mountains after this point is going to go lower and lower and lower, and yet you're flying the ridge.
and you can go to 10.2 easily.
Yeah. But GBO found his savior. He's already at 2,500 and 2,500 compared to 1,800, which is nice.
And what about JKK right now? He's quite at
He's
the
at
same
1,700
position.
scraping.
Yeah, yeah. So quite low compared to GBO.
So his average speed now definitely is going to change. And Kilo Juliet is definitely probably smiling right now because he's like, yeah, I got lift, I got speed.
And I have someone facing me that is showing me the next thermal.
Right. But that's not in his path. He's going to make a left turn right here to stay with the mountain or stay or just fly straight onto the next ridge. Yeah, boy, I would fly straight.
What? 20
Ooh,
minutes?
or take that lift right there. Damn. Do you see that 14 meters per second?
Yeah, yeah. Instant value was insane.
Yeah, those are the moments when you, for the first time ever, fly, and all of a sudden you find this lift when your altimeter, your vario goes, beep, 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 beep,
Yeah.
and it doesn't go any further than it is. Man, it's like, what?
Yeah, what an exciting moment.
Yeah, that is. I
Wow.
love those moments.
Okay, so
So
it
he's
is may
chosen to
not be
take the rest of the
centered.
thermal because the cloud disappeared.
Wow, it looks very strong, not very easy to center, but
Center it, right?
okay, so too difficult to center. Okay, let's switch to the next. They have to choose which one of the leaves they try to center, and which one they don't have time to center to manage their average speed at the global flight. Very interesting.
It looked like if you flew an 8, might have been the better option there. But that's. Oh,
Okay, I was afraid of JKK.
so JKK found something here. Oh,
Okay, so
okay,
he
the bottom
climbs.
end of GBO. He's very happy about that right now.
Remember, at 10.1, they were at the same altitude, same time.
Right.
But here we have a very big difference between both of the pilots. So
1,000 meters,
interesting.
3,000 feet, or 3,300. That's a lot of height distance because GBO is at 3,075
Yeah,
and he's at 2,000. So it's over 1,000 meters. And he's scraping. He's not finding. He's
yeah.
not.
This is not perfect.
He gave up on it. There it is. Come on, turn, 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 turn. There it is. Turn, turn, turn. He didn't turn.
And we can see Kilijet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey like two pilots on the attack to get to
Yeah.
the 10.2 first.
Now they do because they have the height on the right side of the ridge. The mountains get smaller. They actually
Yeah.
fly in turn point two is in a valley. It's
Yes.
between two mountains, so they're in a really good position. And GAT is also GBO is in comparison much higher now as both of them by about 500 meters. So that's a lot of energy he can. But if
Yeah.
look at his Varia average right now, that's the point when you leave. Now it's back up. Okay. But also for people, sometimes it's not always the best to fly towards the cloud base. Sometimes it's actually 4, 5, 6, 7, or 800 meters before is the max of lift, and that's when you fly to the next, rather than trying to max
Yeah.
it out. Right now, half of the time he's flying only 0 or 1 or 2. That's the time to leave, in my opinion, or what I've been
Oh,
taught.
interesting. JKK is trying range flights. As the wind
It's
comes
continuing.
from the southeast, these mountains can generate some lifts maybe, and he's hoping that this will keeping him at a good altitude.
Tough
Interesting.
choice, especially since he flew through a good lift. Hmm.
He's waiting for his holy lift.
He's waiting for his holy lift. I love that. His holy lift. And it's not the Q button on your keyboard.
No, in real life it doesn't work.
Man, you wish sometimes you have that. Q, Q. What a difference having them all on the same line, and
Yeah,
yet the height difference is massive.
it means translated into the average speed at the end.
Right. JKK, no energy. Kilo Juliet, lots
Yeah,
of energy. Right. Very impressive. And maybe now he finds a little bit of lift there, but no.
can you remember at what altitude the Crystal Airport is?
I don't.
Check that. Am I at the good airport? Oh no, this is not the good one.
I can look it up though.
Airport, California. Elevation 3,400 feet, so 100.
Yeah,
1,000 meters.
1,050 meters, something like that.
Yeah. And what is the maximum altitude of the pilots right now? Okay, let's check that. Okay, so GBO is at 3,200 meters. We
That's the
have
max height.
approximately, yeah, for the leading pilots. So 2,000 meters with 40-to-1 glide ratio. The final leg will be quick.
Right.
Yeah, approximately 80 kilometers straight, knowing that the wind is a bit pushing you. Very interesting.
And you have to get through the valley. There's a little low spot on the valley to get through that, to get crossing these two mountains, the San Gabriel Mountain as well as the San Bernardino Mountain. And there's a little valley you have to fly through to get to back to Crystal. So you can fly lift, rich,
Yeah,
and then
this is very interesting.
hammer it down.
I do not what to expect from the final leg because I think that the best pilots could reach the end without cycling, just on the ridge. That would be one strategy. We'll see. What is the fastest? GPO is so high. Wow.
He is high and he's in limited or reduced sync. I think he might be on final glide.
Yeah.
And if you look at the average speed, he's down. Wow. And look at Anna Martin Goodlad,
Oh, yeah,
126.7.
that's hard. That's hard. He managed
Yeah.
to take a risky decision, and it was well done. I have to admit, but it was not enough to get back to the first average speeds. Where is Alpha Mike? Alpha Mike, okay, he has a great average speed. Could be in the podium.
Yeah.
Whiskey
And
Romeo Whiskey
Julie,
has a
the one on the
300.
bottom there, Julie Kilo, he has great average speed, but it's just so close to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ground. Risky. So as you can see, Golf Bravo Oscar is not flying directly to the turn point because he's still using the bridge lift the way it looks,
Mm.
rather than flying straight towards it. With that much height, I'm surprised. But 500-meter more height for Golf Bravo Oscar compared to the Whiskey Romeo Whiskey and Cooley Juliet, is that enough to create more average speed? Maybe. Is that enough energy?
JKK. I thought that JKK would take a lift as soon as he found one, but he tried the bridge to the top point too. But the ridge is getting lower and lower, so we'll see. Interesting.
Yeah. Good thing there's a road and it looks like some flat land. It's the only option he has for now. And keeping hydrated, folks, while you're playing this game or while flying in real life, for sure. So I'm looking at the big map, and I see some pilots have chosen not to go around the big mountain and fly the other way. But take a look at that later because right now we have the
Okay.
first people turning. Well done.
Okay, so first pilot right now is Kilo Juliet, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, and Golf Bravo Oscar, who is following the three leading pilots, and JKK, who is following at a lower stage.
On the edge of the Sierra Mountains.
I think if we had a point of view of JKK, it would be like that. Okay, on the left, on the right, I am following my friends. Very interesting. And he has turned the
Oh,
turn point two right now.
hit that button. Off you go. Look at that cloud right there. Take it, dude.
Save your
He's
life.
like, no.
Take you, clown.
He's like, no. Time to fly that way. That looked like a good cloud, though. I'm surprised he does not take that. It's too far out. Okay.
Okay, so now they are
He's
really
hoping to get maybe that cloud.
straight to the mountain. Okay, they are. It is very interesting. They took the decision to be on the right of the line and to go back on the ridges, approximately to make the same flight as they made from to go to turn point 2. I think they found a good lift all around all along the ridges. So if it works in one direction, it will work in the other.
Yeah, yeah, that's the goal on this ridge flying. Hmm.
Wow, Kilo Mike India is so high. Where is he?
He's 3,400 meters.
Yeah, impressive. Wow, he's in stratosphere.
Almost needs oxygen. Almost.
Oh, JKK has to get away from the center line of ridges. Maybe too low.
I mean, that was this risk thing that he took since he did not turn earlier, flying low to the ground. And that's a
Yeah,
risk you can take here in this simulation of Condor, because there's a reset button, but in real life, I don't think you'll be doing this.
and we have our first message on the chat on YouTube, which is from Ben, who say, "Go Judd, go Judd." He's supporting his friend. Very nice, Ben. I hope
Ben,
you
who
are
is actually
enjoying.
qualified,
Yeah, I hope you are enjoying the live and you spend a good time with us.
and he's getting what is he doing? He's flying. He's giving more lift, huh? Interesting. He thinks he doesn't have enough height. What's his average speed? No, I want to know. I want to know where he's at. 112.
Okay.
Hmm. He's not much faster or slower than Gert, GBO. Go Ben. Um, but look at that whiskey, Romeo whiskey.
Impressive.
That is definitely impressive. Amazing to see. And Julio Kilo has
Yeah,
still
he's still catching up
high
the
average.
others.
Gotta just like, man. You never know. But now we're going up again slightly, so JKK got to find something. Because
And we didn't pay too much attention to Alpha Echo X-ray, but look at his average speed. It's very good. He's second right now. Where is he?
good.
He's it just has turned the turn point 2. And is he high? Yes, okay.
He is right now, he is 2,300
Yeah,
meters. So he's low
that's
ish.
okay. Yeah, okay.
Definitely low. So as I'm looking at this, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey is definitely my to go to guy.
Yes, they are flying quick. Their strategy is very dynamic. They are all doing ridge flights. Interesting to see if the altitude of GBO will make him having better decisions than the two others.
Yes. and he can fly the ridge probably longer. Or
Yeah.
so that's what I said earlier. He, because of that, he might have a few more options that will help him to stay, or yeah, in his favor. Because otherwise they have to fly big. They have to fly
Mhm.
big around that mountain where he can maybe fly over it. And there's that cloud that he's flying away from. Um, that might help him to go slightly higher, if he even has to.
But we didn't see a lot of pilots cycling in this area at the end.
Except for Gerd, who thermaled earlier to get high from very low.
Yes, but it
That's why
was
he's.
bit further from the edge, the bridges, I think.
It's right there where these guys are, where Victor 88 is and all that stuff, I believe. No, you're right. It was further.
Yeah, it was a bit lower on the ridges. This is very interesting because ridge training is quite effective right now. Kilo Juliet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey has not losing so much altitude from turn point two.
Right, and compared to Gerd, you mean?
Yeah,
I've noticed that too. But he has now the option to go really above this. Yeah, look at that, 8 meters. That's the number. Yeah. And the silence is just the marvel of what he's doing right now. That's we're
yeah,
watching it as you guys
yeah,
are, and
yeah.
you're like,
It's impressive.
wow, super nice. Off you go, turn, and hopefully he finds some lift under that. Oof, that cloud that was
This is
just
okay.
there. What happened to it? 2,650 meters.
He's quite high. He has passed the highest peaks. I don't know. I don't think he will go on the right on the ridges. He will stay on this line.
And these guys are only 100 meters behind him, 100 meters below them. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But he did, he was behind them. Now he's in front of them. So has flown faster. Not by much, but. Oh, look. We have Mr. Juliet Kilo Kilo.
Okay. Well, now he has the decision to make. Facing a ridge that is higher than him, he will manage
Facing the
to
mountain.
deviate a bit his route to pass it. There it is. But you can see the difference between the two rhythm of the flights. For Whiskey Romeo Whiskey and other pilots who were high, they went very straight following the ridge, and JK have to manage a bit more the mountains. Uh,
Manage, yeah. Oof.
it's less straightforward.
It's a very stressful flight. Oh, look at the speed coming here.
Who is it?
Who is this? I can see this. He's flying so fast. I can.
And yeah, Alex, who has a very great average speed, is at a great altitude right now. He has not circle up from turn point two, I think.
And we have John Davis, who's also pretty flying. A really good Good flight there between. Look at
Yeah.
that lift. But I guess at this point, it's just fly rich, 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 and go take it.
The next important decision will be after these mountains, I think, because you have maybe Tim, if you can show up the global view, yeah, like that, maybe more on the left, to see what they will face. A view to the final glide. Yeah, to see what is ahead. So on the right, the closest ridges, on the left, flatlands. What would you choose?
I would choose jazz
that,
right
that's
there.
that's a tricky decision.
Take that one. But it's not like really strong list,
Yeah,
or he hasn't centered it right.
if you have enough altitude, you could think of going straight to the closest mountain and
Mm.
trying back the ridge flying to the finish line. That could be one of the strategies. I don't know if they have enough altitude. I don't know if they hope finding good lift in the flatlands. This is
The way these
another important
clouds
point.
look, I would do what JK is doing. Fly low and hang on the ridges. Because that's what you have to do. I would not fly into the desert. I would continue flying the ridge.
This is very interesting because Whittle right here is going to the desert. He's not facing straight to north to the. Oh yes, thank you, Tim. You can see that Jeb is not flying straight north to find the closest mountain. He's trying to catch up the line to the finish line. And Kilo Juliet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey do so.
This
I
is a
don't
tough
know what to
choice.
expect.
I
Yeah,
thought you would fly with high speed towards the ridge, meaning
me
towards
too.
the east. Kind of like how they came and then use that upwind. Or, yeah, well, I'm not in the
Yeah,
plane.
yeah. I would have imagined a flight straight to north and as quick as possible doing some low ridges flights. But we will see. Interesting, interesting. We have
Yeah, very
JKK
interesting.
just behind. Maybe we'll take another decision. Alpha Echo X-ray. Alpha Echo X-ray has found a lift. Oh, maybe just on the ridge to gain a bit of altitude. Yeah, it's not so high, 2,700 meters.
I see TDK at
Wow.
4,368 meters.
And he's
And
on.
he is over there. He has not
Yeah,
reached level one, I mean, turn point one. He's in the desert over there, in the green
yeah,
desert,
yeah, between turn point 1 and turn point 2.
at 4,437 meters.
That's impressive.
Was he trying to get into the? There might have been some street. What do you call it? Not streeting. Some
Some wave.
wave. Yes.
Maybe I don't know what he has found over there. I don't know if at this altitude you are above clouds or not.
Well, The birdies told me once, I think it was 2 days ago, that there were actually some wave.
Can you show us TDK, Tim?
And he's rising, he's flying and rising.
Yeah,
I think he
interesting.
found it. He's at 4,644 feet, flying towards the turn point,
Wow. Just
and he's
imagine
going
with
up
this
more.
altitude, at what time your computer says you are local to the final destination.
You mean your final glide?
Yeah. y-
At
With
this point,
this
you might be.
altitude, with the crystal altitude, you have 3,700 meters of potential energy to gain your final glide. With a ratio of 40 to 1, you will have a final glide of so much time.
So JKK is still hanging low. But Tim, I really would like you to take a look at TDK. Because I think
Oh,
he
GGB was
found
found
the
a thermal.
wave flight.
Yeah, maybe TDK is at the end of the ranking because he has not flown a lot of a long distance.
He's still going up. He's now almost at 5,000. So he definitely found the.
So maybe due to the technical issue, we can't display these flights.
Because he's too far behind.
He's too high. We have lots of signal.
At the barn. Is he on the average list? We're asking a lot of Tim. He's not on that list, is he? He only
No,
has the top
unfortunately, we
20.
can display only 20 pilots. And as we are a famous race organization, we have too much pilots racing tonight. And it is too much for us to display all the average speeds.
Okay. Well, thank you for trying. But we can see still Whiskey Romeo Whiskey is extending his speed. And Judah, kill you.
Well, Norman,
Same thing.
your voice is
Something wrong with my
like
sound now.
yeah, it's like R2D2 in Star Wars. It's a bit weird. Oh, Kilo Juliet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey have tried to find one thermal, but it was not enough. So they go straight forward, and it would be quite stressful for Jet Kilo Kilo to see the pilots who are not cycling in front of them because he's quite low and he has to manage to gain altitude. Who else can we see? So Golf Bravo Oscar managed to gain a bit of altitude. He is now 400 meters above the leading pilots and he's more to the left. And if you maybe Tim, you can display the Cunha map because we can see that the two leading pilots, Killjet and Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, are taking a decision compared to GBO. They are reaching the ridge. Definitely go in a more northern direction to the edges and maybe find a good path through the ridges to reach the final line as quick as possible. JKK is following, but very low compared to the two others, 1,000 meters below. Quite hard. And Alpha Echo X-Ray, who has a great average speed, is following the two others with some altitudes. He's at 2,200 meters, and it is quite well.
Yeah, it all looks like. Well, looking at this. And by the way, I had to change my microphone here because obviously something wasn't correct. So no, we fixed it. Yay!
Yeah, you are back from space. You will watch the replay and you will hear you going as the voice of Darth Vader.
That was my R2D2. How do you say R2D2 in French?
Exactly the same. R2D2.
But it's not exactly the same.
The same pronunciation. It's
R2D2.
the same following letters and numbers.
Yeah, but it's just the French way of saying this.
Yeah.
R2D2.
You imagine the robot with the baguette and the beret. R2D2.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Nice. Now I have to make my screen bigger again. Hello.
Okay, so we are back again in a moment of decisions. GBO is following the track. Whiskey Romeo, Whiskey and Kilo Jet are going straight to the ridges.
So they're doing what we thought they could have done in the first place: fly the ridges.
Yeah. But it is
And
further
Gav is
from
trying to find. Yeah.
the line, so maybe GBO will manage to finish the race like this, just taking 2 or 3 more lifts. And we have to admit that the cumulus clouds in front of him are very, very great looking.
Yeah.
You have plenty of choice. You will be able to select the good one.
And he's on a direct course. He's not deviating. So
Exactly. He's
but
minimizing
once you
the
have
distance
rich, you
from.
can have energy. You can fly faster. Interesting. And TDK is still at 4,700. So you lost 300 meters. I think that's what they're trying to find a wave over there. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, maybe, Tim, if you turn to the view to the left, we will be able to see GKK on the ground, cutting the trees.
Did he land out? No.
No, I don't think so. But maybe
He's at
Tim,
1,200 meters.
Tim, if you can turn a bit rotate a bit the view on the left, JKK should be there. Oh yeah, he's here. Well,
I mean, heads up, right? I mean, he's been doing this for the last hour.
Yeah.
And he's holding up his stick. That is very impressive. But at some point, you have to find something to stay up.
He's very, very strong mentally.
Right? I mean, I personally, I'll be like, no way, man.
Yeah.
Done. Oh, wow.
And he's not from England, so we don't know how he managed to do this.
He's hoping to get that lift right there where the two are in.
Wow. This is a difficult moment because they both are quite high, and in Condor, even if the thermals are more theoretically models, it is hard to find the same thermal as they have. But maybe we managed to do it, and I hope for
Not
him.
yet.
100 kilometers to go, Jamo. We are all with you.
Another 100, yeah, but not with an altitude of 1,200 meters when the airport is at 1,200 meters or 1,100.
Yeah, you need a very good gliding ratio right now.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to see the theoretical gliding ratio from the last time he tried to circle up, because JJK is not circling from, I don't know, maybe half an hour.
Hour. I want to say. Time
Yeah,
flies. It's
yeah.
already 5 o'clock. I mean, it's 11 o'clock wherever you are, or
And I
France.
think
Is
the
it 10?
average gliding ratio from on this hour, it would be very interesting, because his flight was very intelligent, low but intelligent, and the gliding ratio should be very interesting.
Do we have that feature?
No, no, no. This was my dream, but we don't have developed that for yet. Oh, in the chat, they love the R2D2 with the baguette. Thank you, Antoine, for the comment.
Gotta love the baguette. It's like, oh, c'est la vie, let's go.
Yes, all the French viewers were like, "Oh, they are speaking about the baguette. Yes, France, France first."
Talking about it, I could eat some. I'm hungry.
They are
And
terrible.
we still have 100 kilometers to go. I mean, come on. So now they're at 2,800. And GBO is at 2,000.
100 kilometers to go. 1,500 kilometers height and potential energy. Maybe too soon to start the final glide, but it would be very interesting to see the end of the race. Oh, well, we can see that JKK has taken another decision, a safe decision to
He was
go down.
slightly too low to go on that ridge right away, so he has to fly around it to get back to it.
He will try to find any rock that could create a lift. Wow, I'd look at GBO. GBO, wow, this is its altitude.
His altitude is
Okay,
1,900, 2,000.
yeah, 2000. Well,
So it was 800. It's 800 meters. He might be able to get to where he needs to go.
maybe to the next ridges and well, end this flight with the last ridge. It would be
Tim, would you please
very.
show us the average? Can you do it on the screen? Probably not.
I'm thrilled to see what will be the end of this race.
Oh man, Tim is awesome.
Oh wow! Look at this. How GBO has a
Yeah,
better average speed now.
because he hasn't turned.
Yeah, yeah. I know that Kilo Juliet and Whiskey Remusky just turned. But wow, if he managed to go to the ridge on direct flight, it would be very interesting. What would be the end of this race? I don't know.
I'll be on Ben's side. Go Ben! Go go go! Interesting. Yeah, look at the average speed. I mean, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey.
Yeah. Still
He's in
leading.
a better situation right now
Yeah, still leading.
because
His
he's
first leg
leading.
was
He
so
is,
good.
and he's back on the ridge with some decent height. But not to underestimate yet, TKM,
Yeah,
also a high average. And where is he on that whole screen? Where do we see him?
he's leaving the mountains after turn point two.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I see him. Yeah, look at those big clouds coming his way. This might be the way to go. I
Wow,
mean, look, straight line all the
so
way.
straight.
Bam. And it's along the line, no distance losing. The wind is actually carrying him slightly into the right direction, tailwind,
Yeah,
22 kilometers tailwind. Yeah, yeah. So his ground
constant
speed is
speed.
probably at
Interesting.
190. Very impressive. I have to say, this is a very unexpected but very good flight from all of them. I mean,
And I have to thank again the tax setter because the 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 stress and the interest of the race depend on the task, and it was a very very good job tonight. So again, thank you both of them to have set a very very interesting race.
I wonder if that cloud for GBO is like the right. Is that the cloud that we're seeing it, or is it a different cloud? Because I expected more lift here for them guys in the mountains, but I guess they're too high right now to really
Oh,
have good news
JKK
for
is still
them.
JKK is still following.
He's doing it.
Wow,
Unbelievable.
what a flight!
That is what a flight. And
Wow,
he's, yeah.
we will call him the gardener. Always close to the always close to the trees.
Oh, man. He was looking for something. He was looking for coins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mental strength you have to be able to fly like that. And so his average speed stays strong for sure.
As he's not circling, he he had to do a lot of a small deviation earlier, but I don't know if its average speed has been impacted. And GBO still straightforward.
But at some point you have to turn. No, I mean at some point you need to get your glider back up. I don't know. This
And
is
I don't know if GBO has a lot of clouds in front of him. To okay, it's fair.
and while he's coming also at there's a height where the ridge may kick in for him, whereas Whiskey Romeo Whiskey only can use his energy and not getting any extra lift because they're so high right now compared to the ridge.
And as we said before, GBO manage. I think he will do it. He will manage to join the ridges at a great altitude, not too high, not too low,
Yep, yep,
and it should be enough to go to the finish line just like that.
yep.
Wow!
I agree.
If it works, it was a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I said to you earlier before he turned on turn point two, this might be his final glide.
100 kilometers, final glide. Wow.
Yeah, but in the mountains, I mean, for us flatlanders here,
Yeah, that's
100
why I'm
kilometers,
impressed.
or you know, but that's what they do. They fly. And by Kilo Juliet following Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, he will not be able to pass him.
I don't think so.
Meaning, you won't be faster in any way.
In the chat, we have a confession. Antoine says us that Jamo is just growing some nice tomatoes and fruits, and he loves gardening. I don't know, they were so friends.
Did he dump his water by now? I don't know. He probably
That's
has.
that's why. That's why
He is a good gardener. Okay.
he has balanced his glider with water and seeds. And
Nice.
that's the lift for GBO. I don't
There
know
is
why
lift for sure.
he's
Not very
taking two.
strong though.
Okay, I thought he would go straight to the ridges to try to finish the race like that, but
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised myself too. But
mm,
height is energy is safety.
yeah, maybe this decision was the safest one, not screwing up all the race just for one decision at the end. Always great to what? He's high.
He gained 300 meters.
He's he's so
Oh,
high
look, he had a
compared.
thermal. You can see in the back.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had a thermal. He took it only minimum height, but now he's gonna fly this ridge. He's flying it home. That's wow. Huh. I am flabbergasted.
Okay, quite a good lift from GBO.
It's yeah. It's he's at 2,000 right now. 2,000 meters. I mean, what are you gonna say? I mean, like we're talking for 3 hours now. Like, whew.
Well, well, yeah, it's been already 3 hours,
Yeah,
and if the viewers like the show and spending the night with us, do not forget to like the video, to subscribe to our channel. It's always a pleasure to have many viewers. Obviously, we are making this type of competition for the pilots, but also for the public. So please interact with us.
right.
Tell us what is good and what is bad to help us getting this better and better for the pilots and for the viewers. And for the commentators, we will have our list to tell to the organization. And yeah,
No, but it's. I mean, like the sport, soaring or gliding, is a sport that is holding its members. At least in America, it's slightly going down. How is it in Europe?
I do not have the numbers. I think that just after the pandemic, we have a little a higher number of members
Mhm.
because of the pandemic. Everybody think that it was time to live something incredible, so they come to Glider. But right now, I do not have the numbers exactly.
Right.
But here we are targeting maybe new a new public because the organization of this type of events and the live streaming associated, we expect that it can be interesting for more people than just the frequently users of Condor or the frequent glider pilots. We are trying to create an entertainment for anybody who is interested in aviation and in glider. And Condor is a very good tool to entertain around gliding racing. So we will see what people can be interesting, and that's why we are very interested into the ideas coming from any reason. It's always interesting for us to develop our strategy, our races, and our streaming.
Right. So the point that we're trying to make here for you listeners is that, or viewers, that this is a good tool to possibly promote soaring and gliding to the non-knowing world. So people who have never done this or have an opportunity to see what it could mean for you to be in the real world, from the virtual world into real soaring. Um, and so this is a really good tool helping us to create that, to increase the memberships all around the world to soar, for soaring. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such a great tool. Like you said, Jean David, that it's not the motor, it's the being with the wind and the nature, learning how to really be with nature and soaring with the elements. It's such an incredible experience. And to share that
Mm.
through a two view screen is one thing, but to experience it and living it in a real world, there's something to be said about it. It's beautiful, it's fun. The camaraderie in clubs is incredible. The support that you get, because there's always something to be done. Things break because you
Yeah.
fly. And so the community comes together, helps you putting the glider back together, fixing things. The mechanics come about who are allowed to work on it legally, to sign you off and say, yep, this is correct, you've done it right, or I can only do it.
Yeah.
But there's so much you learn in life. And I really encourage the women in the sport to come up, because, man, women usually have a stronger mental strength, and you'll beat us easily.
Yeah, there is nothing to see. There is nothing to deal with the sex. It's all about experience and piloting. So yeah,
Yeah, you have to
you
just
have
be mentally, physically strong to be do this. And it's not about the physical
absolutely.
strength. It's more like about the stamina that you have, not the physical strength, the stamina and the staying focused. And oh, don't fly too deep in there. Do make a lift. But he has a massive lift right here.
Okay. Wow.
Is there a
Nice.
cloud above him or something, or is it just the wind just hitting it just right? Yep,
There is cloud.
young one too. It's a youngins. Come on, there it is. Take it, dude. I mean, I'm voting for you now. You've done so well. Come on, it's like,
We want you to win right now.
I don't know about winning, but I definitely making it. That's impressive
Be
flying.
optimistic, Norman. Be optimistic. Wish him all the
No,
best to end this
too
flight.
much German there. No, that's not gonna work. But I wonder if GBO. No, he
Yeah.
hasn't. He looks like there's a nice cloud coming his way.
But I don't know if he needs another lift. Maybe yes, because if JKK, okay, now we have the
Because
data.
you're back on the on the wind on the wrong side of the mountain.
Mm-mm. Yes,
Lots of
you're right.
sink. So I think you need a little extra on the tank to make it home.
You are right. And behind him, Kilo
Or you
Juliet.
fly this little ridge that you just saw. Uh,
Wow, quite difficult.
See that lift, that ridge to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
left? But again, it goes up, so you have to keep pushing it up. So, and you see to your right, way above the FAI sign, there's definitely some goodness if you get into it.
And what are the altitudes? Well, behind him, Kilo Juliet is well, Kilo Juliet
It's at
is
12,000,
seven. Yeah,
2,600.
is 700 meters higher. That's a lot at this moment of the race.
Yeah. And Victor Romeo is
Yeah,
2,500.
the same
So,
altitude.
and Victor Romeo left earlier, so he's a bit ahead of Kilo Juliet. So I don't know, GBO, if this is the right thing to do to fly into that valley to
Mhm.
get that lift. I think I would have done. I kind of like fly back out into the desert, kind of like where they came from in the beginning. So you don't have that downdraft from the mountain on the leeward side.
Again, another interesting moment in this race. There are two sharks, double Whiskey Romeo Whiskey and Kilo Juliet, that are ready to eat GBO with a bit more altitude.
Bit more energy.
Now,
Yep.
now Jad has to defend himself, finding the good thermal at the right moments, not to be catched up by the two other pilots. And this situation,
Yes.
just 40 kilometers to the finish line. Wow.
And now we need to see actually the average speed. I think Vitold Victor Whiskey Romeo
Should
Visco is
be
probably at this case. Look at that. There it is.
yeah, double Whiskey Romeo Whiskey uncatchable. But the same average speed between Jab and Kilo Juliet. But as we saw, there is a bit of different potential energy difference, so it may make the difference on the final average speed. Yeah, about
I'm still
40
looking at the other
kilometers.
one, number 13 right now. Kilo Kilo T T I'm talking T T Tango. God, Tango Kilo Mike. Um, is also high in average speed, 131. And Tango Kilo Mike is at 2,500 meters right now. So he is the one who is actually challenging Wisco Romeo Whiskey
Yes.
for sure. And Arne Martin Güttler, which is Alpha Mike, he's at 1,600. That's low. Okay. But also number 4, uh, Alpha
Yeah.
Echo X-Ray. He is really high. No, 2,000. Okay.
It would be very interesting. In terms of average speed, maybe Whiskey Muromeski would be the first, but after him, who would be the second? Tango Kilo Mike, and after him,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in the same average speed, around 125 kilometers per hour.
yeah.
Wow.
Not over until the lady sings, right? Oh.
And GBO has still not circled. He is on the ridge. We are now on the final
Yes.
glides.
Yeah, he has a bit of lift, but again, that valley that he's in, remember, it
Yeah.
comes up, so he has to rise in the same ratio, otherwise he lands in it.
This is a bit tricky, and we can see that its average speed is getting lower. At the same
Actually
time,
slowing down.
Killjoy average speed is getting higher because he has more potential energy. Okay.
Actually, no, he's gonna fly out of it. Okay, cool.
Wow.
May or may not fly out of it. He might stay in this valley.
They are arriving. Be careful.
And JKK still there. He didn't give up. Very impressive. And he's flying with them basically. Uh-oh. Silence. Is it time for a midnight smack? I mean snack. A little baguette.
You choose. You
Cheese.
choose.
Camembert. Something. Actually, for me right now, it's 5:30 in the afternoon. Lovely weather out here.
In France, it is 11:30 p.m. Lovely moon. Lovely moon. High temperatures.
Yeah, temperature-wise, I think I beat you, but that's okay.
I think we are here again for half an hour. We'll see the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll see how this is going to go. Again, we have some people from behind who are still very strong. And but we're definitely going to see the finish line soon. TDK was so high. He took a lot of time to get so high.
Oh, we had an information that maybe GBO has outlined.
As what?
Maybe there is an outline for GBO.
No.
Oh gosh.
What makes you say?
Can you show us, Tim? Even if it's bad?
Did he land out over it?
Oh
Oh
no!
no! He crashed.
Oh, not at the end like that. No, GBO. What have you done?
So he didn't turn out. He thought he can get above it. Oh, Gerd.
Oh no! Oh,
30 kilometers.
Ben will be so sad.
Putain.
Oh no! The Judd
That
fan club will
is
be so disappointed on the chat. Please send a lot of message for Judd. He's not living a great moment at the end right now.
such a bummer.
And JKK is still living.
Yeah, but he's being caught up by the other guys. So, and they came from behind. No? But nevertheless, he made it, and he made it this far, and still cruising.
Uh,
You're bummed about Jared, huh?
I'm disappointed for him.
Cheers. Prost. That is definitely a bummer. It
in
looks
the
like there's a
comments.
street going through that valley. I'm surprised he didn't land on the street.
Yeah, he took the tree next to it.
Yeah, and the crash in the game means 0 points, right?
Unfortunately. In the comments, we have Sean Churchill that say, "Hey Norman, good to see you again here."
Ah,
And
Mr. Sean. Yes.
we have
Thank you.
Antoine that is laughing at Norman saying French words. Looks
Yeah, I'm
good
trying to
crackman.
throw something in there. Make it funny for you guys. Come.
Yeah, the end
You
of
know,
the
I don't speak
straight.
French at all, so
You do.
the
You have
words are just
almost one word.
almost.
Yeah, you have to you put some more energy in your putain.
Oh,
And it's perfect like that.
Aye, aye, aye.
Great. Yeah, coming into this final glide with a bit more attitude was a great idea. We can see with Witold here, he's
He's doing
going
the same thing, and he might have to weave out, or the other way. He has to get out of it.
maybe we'll try 160 kilometers per hour. He has a bit of energy.
And a bit of lift.
Everything we want to pass the ridge.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got it. He's getting the lift now, flying nicely. Because he's on top of the bridge, rather than Gerard, who was on the edge of the bridge and he could not get enough height. So look at that 9 plus. That's why he stays on top of it. He cuts it.
John Davis is quite low.
He has to fly around the ridge. He cannot fly.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what Gerard did, the mistake, and the mistake I would have done.
He had to try.
Right. Yeah, he definitely has to fly around it. But it's so easy to see for us. When you're in the glider, it doesn't show up that way. And he's making a mistake right now. He's going to try. So if you're watching our stream here, Mr. John Davis,
Be
and he's actually
careful.
American, get out of there.
It's a trap.
It is a trap. He's actually a very good. He has a nice group that he flies in the U.S. for virtual gliding, and he teaches a lot, helping us to fly better.
But I can see that JKK behind him was lower. Oh yeah.
He knew. He's done this before.
Yeah. You have listened to us.
But he has no more height. Well, 600 meters should be enough for 30K.
It's hard.
I'm going to say I'm being like the fish in the water.
Yeah.
There's no water.
No. I believe with the talent he showed us from the all the race, I think he will make it.
Look at the speed now, 270. Bam.
Yeah.
Max.
He passed the mountain. Go.
Cool.
Turn on the post combustion.
Right.
Afterburner.
When would you release the water? Towards the end of the day, or now, or
After passing the finish line, if you don't need extra energy. extra energy. The only reason you should drop the water before is if you need a small lift to get to the finish line, but in other situations you don't need it.
Do we know what the minimum height? Oh, is there no minimum here?
I can see. I don't have the
And Tim is
information right
doing
now.
such a nice job is showing us all the angles of this final glide and possibly the winner.
We don't know. We don't know. Until
We
the
don't
end.
know until the lady sings. But very impressive flight. (270 kilometers per hour). That is just massively fast. But congratulations to Witold Rotzak for the first person on this World Series number 8 race in the USA, finishing in Crystal Airport in California in the Sierra Mountains and Desert. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Woo. Following in second right now, just is Kuba Yetruskiewicz.
Perfect.
Congratulations. That doesn't mean you are in second, but you made it in second. And here we go. A little different speed, scraping along the mountains, as he has all day. JKK, Jaramo Karjalain.
And can we see the first final average speeds in this race? Wow, very interesting. So as you said before, the only one who could reach the maximum speed right now is Tango Kilo Mike.
Yep.
I don't know if he's far away from the finish line or not.
Tango Kilo Mike, let me look on the other map. I'm looking right
No,
now.
he's arriving. I think he's 40 to 30 kilometers away from the finish line on the final glide. He's following the same ridge as the other.
Yeah, but you know, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey Nan flew 270, and if Tango Kilo Mike, his height right now is at 1990, he could be basically doing the same thing, just really speeding up and
At the end, yeah.
getting a couple extra miles out of that. Can we tune into just TKM, see where he's at speed-wise? He's lower.
Yeah.
Lower and slower. Well, we can see the same.
Just 2 kilometers per hour. It doesn't seem to be that much, but at this moment of the race, it is hard to catch up.
Yeah.
JKK is still with his magic.
He keeps hitting the Q button, and now he is somehow.
He hasn't circled up.
And he's flying in really good average speed, no?
Yes.
Why don't we see his
totally decent?
JKK, where is your speed? He's not in the top 20? No, I see. 128.
128.4, yeah. Well, it's really good average speed right now.
Yeah.
What I'm afraid of is the penalty at the end. If he doesn't manage to pass the fine line with 1,200 meters, could have some penalty points, but we will see.
Oh, so the minimum is 1,200. Yeah, but hold on. The airport is 1,100 up, no?
No, it was 1,041 or 42 meters.
No. We'll find out.
Antoine is betting that Tango Kilo Mike will most probably beat Whiskey Romeo Whiskey.
Because he's speeding up. Look at it, 137.8. He was at 137.4. So now he's 137.9. So he's definitely ticking the numbers right now. Up, up, and up. Very impressive.
The bet are opened.
I wouldn't mind going. I mean, he's going to make that, right? Yeah, he's going to make that.
That's incredible. JKK has an engine. It's impossible.
In AEX, coming in third place on the positioning, arriving at the airport. Very low.
Wow. And very fast.
Uber fast. He can pull up nicely. By the way, I've done this. I've flown so fast and then I didn't pull up. I landed in the ground. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah, to him and to all the other pilots that have reached the final line, to all the pilots that participate to the race. And JKK, slowly but surely, 190 kilometers per hour. I don't know how he managed to have this speed again.
I really would like to see, once we're done with Yarmo, congratulations, being in fourth place for now.
Yeah.
I would love to see TKM in his finest flight here, because he's doing a fantastic job. And he is the one who can beat. Look at the speed he's flying. Tim Madsen.
Perfect.
The Danish.
And you have the point of view inside of the cockpit.
Okay. Final glide.
Okay, can you display the average speed at the same time? I'm not sure.
Nah,
no, not with this view.
He's doing fantastic, though.
If he continues this type of flight, Antoine may be right. The average speed will grow up again and again. It may finish first. With this point of view, you can see the
chatting.
Yeah, you can see the internet chat. You deserve to be called the winner of this task.
Not over until 86. Remember, guys. And Tim is definitely also a very dedicated glider pilot. And his speed is incredible. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a nice display on my glider like this. Nice, big, fat. Easy to see.
10 kilometers to the finish line.
And taking every little lift that they can get, huh?
And Tim, can you show us the average speed of Whiskey Romeo Whiskey? Because if he disconnects, the score will disappear. So maybe we have to remember it. 139.6.
And he already passed them.
Look at TKM.
That is
140 kilometers per hour. Do not crash, and it will be good.
Yeah. You don't know until that. Wow, this is very impressive. And for everyone else finishing this competition, this task,
yeah.
On any day, if you finish this task in the speeds of 100 kilometers per hour or 140, that is a very good speed. You know. And he's literally scraping this little ridge right here.
Who is?
Have you ever flown like this, low to the ground to the finish?
Not this long. maybe a few kilometers, but not as long as they do. With the club class as a standard Cyrus is not the same.
Yeah. Look at his speed. He is 1 kilometer and more faster. So Antoine New, well done.
Yeah, he bets.
And
his one.
I think right now we're seeing the winner finishing at the finishing line, Mr. Tim Madsen with Tango Kilo Mike. The last few meters. And I want to say congratulations.
Yeah.
With an average speed of 141.1, 102.4. Why?
Oh, wow.
It changed.
Very impressive.
And very fast.
Didn't expect that, but at the end, very fast.
Wow.
Who are we looking at? 6 Pro Mike.
EJE, Echo Juliet Echo, this is 122 kilometers per hour, will not reach third place. Is there anyone else that could reach third place with the speeds that we have right now?
From the 21st pilots, I don't think so.
No, we don't see that. No, I think we have first, second, and third is clear. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the flight paths that each of these guys took. If we can create that, right? On the other, we can turn off all the other. We can turn off all the others and just look at their flight path.
Tim, do you know how to do that?
Would you be able to do that? Take the first three, TKM, AAX, and KJ, and go onto the other overview screen and just show us the flight path of their flight. It'd be good to see which of the options in the end paid out the best. There we go. So TDK, who's still flying, we wanted to actually see it from TKM, AEX, and Victor. So thank you for doing all this. No, not TDK, but it's okay. TKM, AEX, and Victor Romeo Victor.
And just below TKM. Okay.
It's the black line.
You can select. You can filter the. You can order the
color.
The tab. Just pressing CN. You go to CN. You can order in the alphabets. Okay, and you have Alpha, Echo, X-ray. And one more thing, Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, can you change the color by clicking on the green rectangle? You can't.
Can't change it?
No, it doesn't work. Okay.
Double click on it. If you double click on it, the color changes.
I thought it would work, but it doesn't work for me neither.
It works on mine, interestingly.
Okay, so where are the differences? At the beginning, one of them tries the well, I flood the one of them have tried the flat lamp, but he went to the ridges quite quickly.
And that's a TKM. So he was leading quite a bit. He only lost in the end. And Victor Romeo Victor stayed on the ridge throughout. In AEX, I don't see AEX. It's the same color as Victor Romeo Victor. Blue. There we go. So nobody really flew the same exact course.
No.
As we can see.
It is interesting to see that TKM choose after turn point 1 an option that was very, very east compared to other competitors. He leaves the mountains.
Victor Romeo Victor chooses the shortest route, the way this looks.
Yes. TKM took a strong lift after turn point 1. Yeah, there is multiple differences into the flight tracks. Just at the end, before and after turning the turn point 2,
right.
The ridges were well orientated, and I think that most of the pilots follow them.
We don't see Victor Romeo. We only see 2. It's weird. Where's the red line?
Yeah,
Why don't we see
why.
Victor Romeo Victor? Whiskey Romeo Whiskey. It's weird, no? Because right now we've seen second and third, but not first. Is it because he logged off?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the reason. But as you can see on the screen, you can make yourself a note if you follow this entire race, how the track was flown completely different by the pilots, and yet very close to the same speed average. And Whiskey Romeo Whiskey, we told, didn't make it because Tim Madsen. Congratulations.
Yeah. And how it was undefined until the end. We didn't know the winner, and it was very, very interesting race.
Yeah, loved it. And John David, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
Well, looking forward to fly with you one day.
Hopefully, when we'll go to the race, or if you come from France, come to France.
Well, my plan is to come to Europe. Actually, this week was my plan to come, but it got canceled. So, since I am not certified in Europe to fly,
yeah,
because I don't have the medical, etc., I would have to fly with someone.
With a flight instructor, for example.
Oh, wow, good idea.
Okay.
So if you're saying you have a double.
Well, oh, you are back.
Just happened. Here we're back.
You're back. We were afraid to lose you at the end of this event.
I'd be like Gad. That's a bummer. So sorry to what Gerd. That's a really sad land out shortly before the finish line.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Great race. Thank you, Tim, in the background. Antoine, of course, as always. Seb, always in the background helping as well.
Yeah, and everybody who who set the task, who did the landscape for us. It was very interesting to have all these people around this project. Again, thank you for all the competitors in this race, and thank you, Norman, to come in this race with me, to bring your joy into every moment. It was a real pleasure.
Well, I hope we do it again.
Yeah, we'll see on the
timing is always a virtue.
On the next races.
But let's hope we find another time together. If not, someone else. And if anybody's interested of actually becoming a commentator, let us know. We can always use an extra person who's willing to sit here and do what we do.
Exactly.
Right?
So thank you for following this event. We'll stay there for tonight. We'll see on the next race of the World Championship. And until
like
this,
and subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and fly safe virtually
Fly safe as
or
always.
in reality.
Peace
Bye-bye.
out, man.